Let's get into the thing. Every Wednesday we spend a few minutes looking at the one thing that we often neglect the most, ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And joining us is always the best of my best, Coach Petra Laranjo. Now, I'd like to start today's conversation with something I never thought I'd say on radio. 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
you punched a board with your bare fist
2 boards.
and broke it. 2 boards. Please explain yourself with immediate effect.
And it wasn't I wasn't angry. I was just, so it was part of the Empowered program run by Mark Grobler. And since then, we're actually putting something together for Women's Month. So I'm so excited for that. So I'll tell you about that. But what it's about is his program Empowered, he started many years, about 14 years ago. And it was just to help predominantly women, not as a self-defense course, but just teaching us one technique that we can do so we feel more empowered to protect ourselves, to get away from a bad situation. As opposed to so many self-defense classes you go to where there's all these great techniques, but unless you're practicing them every single day, you're not going to remember, like Miss Congeniality, where she does that. Sandra Bullock does her routine called Sing, where it's solar plexus, instep. What's the other one?
To be fair, Sandy B is not to be messed with.
No, she isn't. She could definitely protect herself. But it's all these practices that don't actually work. So it was really great. And it's about focusing. And then the external manifestation of it was to put your fist through a wooden board.
Yeah. Nice, huh? Feels good.
So good.
Feels good.
It was so much came up around that.
Well, I mean, sort of take us back to that moment. Like, sort of, I know you said where you were and what the event was all about, but what actually happened?
So leading up to it, when I was so excited to go, it was held at the Trist, which is a great venue. They do fantastic
I never knew how to say
events.
that. I always thought it was you spelled it wrong.
The Trist. Trist. So I was really excited to do it because I love doing a bit of a physical event and experience. And simultaneously, I had this underlying fear of what if I can't break the board? And especially being an overachiever.
You wanted 2 boards.
Well, firstly, I needed to break the board. And of course, that's an inner worth thing. It's the self-validation.
Yeah,
there's all of the psychology that goes beneath that. And then it was what if I'm the one person in the room?
That doesn't.
Like, what does that mean about me? So that was going on in my head. Interestingly enough, I mean, not consistently, but the thought did pop up.
Yeah.
Had the amazing experience, and then we went to break the first board. And he kind of tells you to do it with your dominant hand, to practice with your dominant hand. I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
But I started practicing with my right hand, which just felt more comfortable. And then he mentioned it again, do it with your dominant hand. I was like, oh, okay, let me swap to my left because that's what it is. So I hadn't really practiced it. And I got there, and now I'm in my head of like, oh, now I haven't done the hand. Which hand should I do? And what if I don't break the board? My fist just hit the board and stopped there.
Okay.
Nothing happened. Nothing broke. I was like, oh, my greatest fear, or not the greatest fears, but in those 10 seconds, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to break this board. My fist didn't go through it. What now?
Yeah.
And Mark was there. He's like, no, it's fine. What's going on? I was like, well, I used this hand, not the other one, in practice. Like, okay, just use whatever hand you feel you're most comfortable with. So I went swap back to my right. And then I just got into focus, and my fist went right through.
Amazing.
And then I wanted to do it again. And that's when I pictured the 3 assailants from many years ago, about 10 years ago, that broke into my home with other intentions. And I pictured their faces behind the board.
Okay.
Paulie, and I shared that video on my socials. It was incredible how I didn't even feel the contact with the board. It was just, it went right through. And that for me was just the liberation afterwards. Yes, the excitement of, oh my God, I did it, but also I did that, which is a lot deeper.
100%.
So it was like, wow, okay, I did that. And in those seconds, it was almost like a remembering of my power as a human being, as a woman, because this was about protecting ourselves as well. And just almost a remembering of everywhere I thought I'm not able to do things, certain things, where I've put the proverbial wooden boards around myself.
Gotcha.
And it's like, well, if I could do this twice, what else could I do?
What else could you do? You often talk about the connection between the mind and the body. Was breaking that board about strength, or was it about something much deeper?
Good question.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Thank you for asking that, because that is pivotal and foundation to all the work I do, which is about the body, mind, being, and then, of course, how we interpret that to support our business. So it's not about strength. I mean, there was a 9-year-old skinny little girl that put her fist through that board as well. Nice. That broke the board. So it's not about strength. What happened for me, I obviously can't share what happens with everyone, but for me personally, it was the getting so focused on what the intention is behind it. So it's not focusing on the board. It's, well, what am I doing this for? And then it was also being very present, which I wasn't when I first tried. When my fist didn't go through it, I was in my head. And I think for me, the symbolism there is that we generally live our lives through our heads. We try intellectualize everything. We try problem solve. 90%
of the stuff that goes on is in our head.
Yes, the stories that we tell that aren't even true. The creativity.
It's like my song all too well.
For all of us, Paulie. Well, for a lot of us. So that's what I noticed happened for me as well. So when I got out of my head and I truly just, everything went quiet, I connected with my body, what my body felt like, that I was holding space, I was holding ground. And then it was that whole part of my being, which is the self-worth part. When all of that came together,
just the lines.
That was magic.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you a little secret about, I did taekwondo for a very, very, very long time.
Ooh.
Second Dan.
Oh, wow. Oh, fancy.
Fancy human being.
Fancy fans.
Not so much. And one of the things that you have is because they try and teach you, I mean, obviously they teach you, you're not taught how to break things. But part of the discipline and part of the grading is that you get to break something.
Yeah.
And they give you boards, and these boards interlock.
Okay.
You don't actually, so when you hit the board or kick the board or chop the board, the board doesn't actually break.
Oh,
it just,
okay, the mechanism.
The lock just, so they teach that to martial artists.
Okay.
So I don't know about karate and all that other stuff, but taekwondo, they teach you that the blocks actually lock in.
Okay.
But you got to hit it pretty hard though. You got to kick it pretty hard though.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
These were solid boards.
Amazing.
Solid wooden boards. I've got the pieces at home.
Nice.
Yeah.
You should put that on your social media.
I did. Well, not the actual piece. I did take a photo of it, but I did share the video. So
come to my house and this is what you'll get.
Yes. Well, look, I do have I actually don't want to say that on air just in case it gives people ideas. But yeah.
No,
we'll leave that one off.
Most of us aren't sort of going to the punching pieces of wood this week. What does that look like? What is the sort of, what does that same breakthrough look like in everyday life for the rest of us?
Sure. So what's coming up for me is, everywhere we've used our past as proof for what our future is going to be. So the past, the limitations, the beliefs, the areas where we perceived ourselves as failures, where we weren't able to overcome something, where we disappointed ourselves or disappointed others. And that symbolism is looking at, okay, that was all in the past. Fine, my fist didn't go through the first board. Fine, this is what have or haven't been able to achieve. A learning experience, and just a wake-up call also to, okay, Petra, something didn't work. It's data. So instead of using our past as failure, because I could have been like, oh God, okay, I'm too scared now because I don't want to fail the second time around. Or saying, no, like I will, I'm going to do this. So how do we use our everyday life and experience, either as proof and justification as to why we can't, or, okay, that was data in the past. What can I do differently now? So what I did differently was embodying my body, mind, and being together. And that's where the transformation happened. So if we use that again in real life, it's where do we need to start bringing in our bodies and our full beings, not just the mind. So, mindset work, which is part of the work I do. And yes, it's so transformational because it's reframing how we think about things, with the limitations we perceive to be. it's also the reason why so many people can't change old habits, keep repeating patterns, is because we're relying on the same mind that created the problem in the meantime, or in the first place, rather. So if we can look at, well, what else is required? So me as a holistic being who isn't just a mind wandering around, who's got a body, how can I co-create? And this sounds a bit far out, because I know when I came across this work, I didn't quite understand it. I knew that there was something to it, but I couldn't